when Fleet Street was in its pomp, they always had a hate relationship with Arsenal. We were always the Bank of England club, and the media lovies were always Tottenham. They were always Chelsea. They was always Man United, and they was always Liverpool. And it's no surprise that that's all rubbed off on their fan bases. I can understand the hatred from Tottenham. I can understand the hatred from Chelsea fans not wanting us to win anything because we're local rivals. But when you've got Manchester United fans celebrating that City could actually win a league, it makes no sense to me. That makes. Where's their rivalry? Unless that isn't a rivalry anymore. A bit like our one with Tottenham. Perhaps that's not a rivalry anymore like it used to be. Manchester City obviously hating on us because they're in a title race with us again. Liverpool fans were hating on us last year. But why would they want City to win another league? Especially with all the 115 hanging over the City winning machine. It really is a madness to me. The hatred, we have to use it as fuel. The them and us thing. There was another little point I was going to make about it as well, but it's gone out of my head for a minute. It's just so annoying. It's so annoying. And I see Man United fans on their YouTube channels screaming when we lose a goal. I mean, you should be praying for us to win these games so we deprive the cheating machine of another title. It really is strange. And the agenda goes like this. This is the point I was going to make. Manchester City were absolutely dog poo when they played Leeds. When we played them, we went there and we absolutely obliterated them from minute 1 to 90. They were hanging on in there. They couldn't string 5 passes together. Leeds was all over them for great portions of that game, and Leeds deserved something out of that game. But City ground the result out. City are the dog's dinner. We do it against Chelsea, who are a lot better side than Leeds, by the way. We've had to rely on set pieces again. There's never any mention of the fact that these teams set up in a way to stop us playing. So we have to find other ways of scoring. And that's what we do. And when we do it, the meltdown is hilarious. Chelsea scored a set-piece goal. Well, that was an own goal. But what was the meltdown about that? There's one particular content creator was bemoaning us putting the scaffolding up. I ain't going to give him any credit by mentioning his name. And when Chelsea scored an own goal, what a great goal that is, because it was an equaliser. That's a Liverpool fan, by the way. Unbelievable nonsense. It seems to be like a disease. I don't know what the cure is. I think the cure is for us to win it and then go and win it again and shut them all up. That's the only cure for this disease.
Yeah. No, I think you're talking a lot of sense. Chris, I've seen Man City grind out results against Newcastle, come back against Liverpool, win the game, and then grind out a result against Leeds. But they're fantastic. They're playing wonderful football, apparently.
Yeah, but you know why all these clubs are all getting behind Man City, because what it does, it makes them feel better about how inadequate their teams are.
Great point.
It gives them a comfort blanket.
Yeah, great point.
We're shit, so it don't matter if Man City win it. Do you understand? It's their comfort. Liverpool, Man United, it's their comfort blanket. That's all that is. And the Leeds game against Man City, another disgraceful refereeing performance. Stamp on one of the Leeds players, blatant, definitely yellow, possible red. Handball during the game. VAR never even looked at it. You know what I mean? And also going back to Talksport, I mean, they're just a joke. If I was in charge of the media centre at Arsenal, I would not let them through the door. I would not let him report on any game at the Emirates, especially Adrian Durham last night. For the sake of football, Man City have to win the league. Are you sure, mate? You want to listen to yourself? Football. He's the biggest. I don't want to swear on here, but if I ever met him, I'll tell you what, someone that will fucking hold me back. I'm sick of him He's made a living for 30 years of slagging Arsenal Football Club off. Talksport have made a living of slagging Arsenal Football Club off. If there was no Arsenal, Talksport wouldn't exist. You know that?
Yeah.
And you got that other mug, O'Hara, saying, football's terrible, I can't stand all these corners. I'll tell you why he's saying that, because his team can't defend a fucking corner. That's why he's saying it. I'm sick of it. I am absolutely sick of it.
Yeah.
And I think if you want to listen to a more measured report on Arsenal Football Club, you got to go over to BBC. If you listen to the BBC Radio 5 and then you listen to Talk Sport, it's like being on a completely different planet.
Yeah. I actually gave up listening to Talksport about 10 years ago.
The thing is, I mean, they're not all bad on that station. I mean, but even Petit has noticed it, hasn't he? Keown's been sticking up for us on there.
Yeah.
It's beyond a joke now. I'm sick of it. I really am. And I suppose Arteta can put all this criticism up on the on the dressing room wall. But I don't know. Perhaps I think the Arsenal, I don't think they listen to all this crap. We're the ones that have to put up with it all. And and in a way, it creates loads of pressure on us. And, they call Arsenal fans are really nervous on edge. Well, what do you think that is?
Yeah.
What do you think we're nervous on edge?
Yeah. Because we're being brainwashed into the fact we're going to bottle it. We're brainwashed into the fact that we're chasing this mammoth, which has got there by cheating. They never mention that fact. The good of football. What? Having fraud charges and all that against them. The good of football.
Ian Wright is the only person, I've said this before and I'll keep saying it, he's the only person to go on Monday Night Football on Sky on their programme, and he mentioned it, and I'll never forget it. They all started looking at each other, and he's never been invited back since.
Yeah. Shut down.
Never.
Well,
shut down. Cancelled.
The one that got me the most before I come to Kenny was Judges told me about it. I didn't hear him. But Peter Schmeichel apparently said, oh, we can't have anyone winning anything from set pieces. Okay then, Peter, give us your Champions League medal back then. Because you won the Champions League off of both of them. Exactly. What is he talking about, man? It's crazy, really, isn't it? But look, let me come to Kenny because he might see things differently. The way to shut everyone up, Kenny, is, of course, to win and get across the line, which we all know. But what do you make of it all, bruv?
Well, that's the thing. What came first? The fact is that the way the game's gone, it's a physical game now. We've always accepted it. We always accepted that, there's low block. We've got to get past the first press to the second press to the low block. Football's got like that now. I think the reason why a lot of people, have a go at Arsenal and don't want to win things is, as I said 2 weeks ago on the show, Arsenal fans come from all sorts of different backgrounds. The real Arsenal fans ain't like some of those pork chops and wazzocks that you have on social media who think they run the show. I mean, they couldn't even spell Arsenal. Some of those pork chops and Larry the Lamb types who represent us on TV. I mean, you've got one pork chop who every time he goes on, he couldn't even tell Pascal Seagame from Philip Sandaros. So that's the sort of reasons why we do get ridiculed. You know it, Dan. You know some of these guys. Another reason why we get ridiculed as well is because there's a misconception from lazy people, TV executives that think, right, the 1% of loudmouths who go on social media represent all of that 100% of the fan base. So if they watch AFTV, they watch any of these podcasts, that's it. That's a representation of Arsenal. They don't go in a black stock. They don't go into the Gunners pub. They don't speak to any normal people, local guy, local postman. It's just those guys. But the thing about it, right, is, look, yeah, the football's not the greatest. It's not exciting. But the thing that made me laugh is that it's when Dave Bassett and Arne Slot, we'll start with Dave Bassett. Now, Dave Bassett talks about the joy of football. Well, Dave Bassett managed Wimbledon and Sheffield United. Now, I don't know, I might have been asleep probably between 1986 and probably when he got sacked from Sheffield United. But I must have missed the flair football they played. I must have missed the passing through the lines, the bit of finesse, the midfield generals that they had. I must have forgotten about the long ball teams, long ball football we watched at Wimbledon under Dave Bassett. When they made it through to the first division, and I must have forgotten about the long balls he had at Sheffield United. I mean, him of all people, he's got to know. Then you got Arne Slot. Arne Slot, when he came to the Emirates, played with a low block, kept the ball, didn't let us pass through the lines.
So did Pep, by the way, Billy. So did Pep.
Yeah. And so what are they whinging about? And then you look at Liverpool's games when they were going through that period when they were getting last-minute goals, all set pieces, flick-ons, and either Van Dijk and Kanate were scoring for set pieces. So the way I look at it, right, it's easy to moan about it, but the fact of the matter is that it is what it is. It isn't great football. It isn't with panache, but the fact is there's too many teams in the Premiership are scared to lose. That's why they have low blocks. That's why they rely on set pieces. Don't get me wrong,
Kenny, isn't it? It's cause and effect.
But you know one thing is, though, I don't know what they're crying about, because next season they're going to do something about it anyway. They're going to, like I said, monitor the corners, make sure people kicking from the, kicking from the contrant, and also they're going to start, because TV executives are talking about pulling and pushing. That will stop it anyway. So they got their own way. Next season, you will see less set pieces, and then if we win the league this season and we start winning with great football, will we get respect? No, we're not, because at the end of the day, the media is biased towards northern clubs. When Man City were on top, they're loving it. When Liverpool were on top, they loved it. When Man United on top, they loved it. But whenever a London side has any semblance of success, it's a problem. They didn't like it when Chelsea had success because it was the money. They didn't like it under George Graham when we had success. And then when we were successful under Arsene, 78 sending offs. They're never going to love us. So let's just create this little bubble. Let's create our own island. Let's just be clannish and think, right, us against the world, and let's win things.
The reason I piped up with the cause and effect thing is that it's the Premier League that's got the problem. It's not Arsenal's fault. This is the Premier League has got a problem with its product and the way it's portrayed across the world, because it's boring to watch. A lot of it. You could swap the shirts off the players, and you wouldn't know who's playing for what club. Every game is very, very similar. Overcoached, ultra defensive, and intent, as you say, on not losing. Now, when we go into Europe and teams are of a different mindset where they're not frightened of losing, they want to try and come and win a game. What happens? Arsenal look really, really good. That's not a coincidence. That's not a one-off. It's every single time we've played in Europe this year, we've looked like a different team because there's room to operate in. And the team's not just concentrating on trying to keep a clean sheet. It's trying to score a goal. And that was what the 3 points for a win was supposed to do, by the way, wasn't it? 3 points.
Jamil did it in 82, didn't it?
Discouraged this, and it's encouraged it even more. It's encouraged it even more.
You know what it is, Russ and Chris? You've got to remember one thing now, is that you've seen what happens when teams fall out of the Premiership. They start as yo-yo clubs, like Norwich were like that, Leicester were like that. But the minute the money dries up, they're done. To the extent they go straight in the administration. It's a very expensive piece.
Which is why the rules were brought in the first place. The rules aren't designed to enhance the red cartel, as they call it. The rules aren't enhanced to stop, enforced rather, to stop Manchester City catching us up, which they did do because they obviously haven't abided by the rules, and to stop Newcastle from catching the red cartel. It's to stop. What happens if Newcastle spent £1 billion and then that owner pisses off? You've got the same exact situation.
The trouble with football fans is that the problem we got is that you're never going to be united, because at the end of the day, you can't go up a Chelsea fan and say, "Oh yeah, this ain't the right way," when they went 50 years without winning a title and they've had all success that they're never going to see. Could you begrudge them that? And then you got Man City, didn't win anything for 35 years. They didn't get Man City didn't even get to a final before 2011 for 30 years.
Kenny,
So for them, football fans are selfish, aren't they?
I don't begrudge any fan's success. I begrudge the ownerships and the board directors lauding it when they've done what they've done. That is the thing that really sticks in my.
But the thing is, the trouble with the Arsenal, we have played a beautiful game, haven't we? Especially under Wenger. I mean, and we were criticised for being too soft. We had teams. We had the Aaron Ramsey, his leg broke. We had Eduardo. We had some terrible injuries, and we were told you're too soft. You got to learn the dark arts. And then when we become what I call a right horrible team, and we are the masters of the dark arts. We're criticised for that, so we can't win. And by the way, I love being hated because that is all about being an Arsenal supporter.
It doesn't bother me.
I love it, and I hope they have a right. I pray to God we win this title because I'll tell you something. I'm going to rub it in. I'll tell you what, Jamie O'Hara, you don't want to meet me, mate, because I'll rub it in, and I pray they get relegated, and I pray we go. Do you know what would be the perfect scenario? It won't happen, but this is my dream. We've wrapped the league up, and we go to West Ham, and West Ham need 3 points to stay up. I'll play our fucking youth team, and I'll remind them. And I'll remind them of the night they all wore Man City shirts at the New White Hart Lane, all jumped up and down. Oh, this is good. But I tell you something, the football gods have paid them back because you love getting beat so much that night. The last 2 years, your own records, you nearly lost 90% of your matches. So I just measure they go down, and they go down by a corner. That'd be even better.
The thing is, Chris, is that, I was speaking to a Spurs fan, and I've always told my members of my family of Tottenham and Spurs fans that, mates, very good mates, I said, I can't envision them going down. And they said, but every time they play and they lose, I look more stupid. One mate of mine, he said, well, we've only won 2 in 19. I went, oh my God, that's relegation fall. So you just don't know. But the good thing about it is that I love being on the show because it reminds us that who our rivals are. It's them. It's always been them. Yeah. But the thing about it is that what we have with football fans is that we talk about breaking the rules and blah blah. The problem with Arsenal, and I say it in a nice way, on the surface, probably the fact that we do see ourselves as a Bank of England club doing things the right way has probably hampered us. You think about over the last 40 years, we've always tried to urge our board to invest a bit more, spend more money on transfer fees, get big players in, spend the wages. And we've always had that kind of problem. Like a lot of Arsenal fans, I'm not saying everyone on the panel, we wanted Usman. Some people wanted Usman off because they wanted like I said, a replica of Roman Abramovich, because they thought if they got Usman off, it'd be spend, and do what Roman's doing and buy success. But you've got other fans who didn't want to go that way. So I think when you talk about breaking the rules, football fans care up to a point, but some of them still got this inkling in their minds where, well, let's just join them. Don't beat them. We can't beat them. Let's join them. And I think that's the thing with the Man City thing. It's a strange one because one, it's taking too long, and two, you just know that the Premier League have no intention of getting rid of their cash cow, because unfortunately for us and everyone in football, Man City is the most important club, for the executives in the Premier League.
That's where I disagree with you, though, Kenny. The Premier League is the other 19 clubs, and they've got the vote. They voted in all these rules, and if these rules have been broken, then all those 19 clubs will want them punishing.